So I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of where we're headed in terms of a business. I get to spend time thinking about what we can do, and then Kim gets to follow me and say, here's what we're doing. I get the easy presentation. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm not going to go way deep into market trends, essentially technologies or user behavior that we see in the market and how we think about them. Smartphones. Everybody carries one of these. And so what we realize is that, this could be an awesome device that can be used as an application or an accessory to conferencing. So we think about the smartphone as a device you always have with you. It's your reminder, it's got synchronization with your contacts and your calendar and your documents. And it's changed in terms of how companies are allowing these devices to work within the organization. So most IT departments are now comfortable supporting various bring your own devices into their company and have access to company content. The last thing is, these are great consumers of content, and that's typically how mobile devices get used. Is they're awesome for very, very easy web browsing and consumption of content, but they're also good at creating content, but they're not great for creating complex documents such as word processing applications or spreadsheets or complex business applications. So these are the things that we think about as it relates to mobile. But what was interesting to me, and this is a research report that shows that tablets are going to outgrow the actual smartphones and cross over in 2016. So it's definitely a device we want to keep our eyes on. But again, the way we think about it is it's a great consumer of content, and it's a great accessory application to collaboration. On the cloud computing side, I haven't seen a transformation as big as this. I mean, mobile is a big transformation too, but what's happening on the cloud side and how businesses are consuming services now and in the future is revolutionizing so many different industries. And cloud computing gets broken down into three major categories around infrastructure, platform, and applications. So the assets, so software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. You start to think about, okay, what are all the different companies and applications that are starting to take advantage of this new way to deliver services? What was interesting for me to watch, the transformation of IT a decade ago. A department would go to IT and say, I've got a business case to develop this certain software that supports my business. And IT would say, great, write a requirements document, we'll put it in a project plan, we'll get the developers to work on it with all the other things that we're doing, and in a couple of years we'll have it out. So they started looking at services that they can deploy themselves to solve some of these business problems. And all of a sudden, marketing VPs are making decisions around infrastructure such as marketing automation products that are all cloud delivered. And IT now is basically saying, okay, how can I service and support you with these kind of applications? So it's really changed the role of IT to be much more of a service-oriented organization than a development organization that really builds unique company applications. The other thing that's interesting is employees are now bringing applications into the organization. And that's changed how businesses are seeing, okay, this employee now has got their own app that they're consuming services and infrastructure because they've got connectivity within their devices. And all of a sudden, they're going, okay, how do we manage this? And the other thing that's interesting about cloud services is they're always up to date, they're easy to deploy, and they're released frequently. And so it's a very different model than what we've seen with traditional software licensing and deployment in the past. But one of the things that we realize, and I think a lot of companies realize, is that the big benefit of cloud services isn't so much the actual application itself, it's how it works with other applications and business processes. That's where the real value comes from and how you manage data across all these applications. The last one I wanted to talk a little bit about was UC. And unified communication has been talked about for decades now, actually. And now, today, you've got major players like Microsoft that have a very structured and large stack of unified communication services And you've got companies now trying to figure out, okay, do we go all in with Microsoft or Google or Cisco? Or do we really look at what's the best in breed? And how do we have services integrate together to really provide value to our customers? And so there's a big debate and dilemma about whether it's a single vendor suite or best of breed path. One of the things that we think about is the transformation that's happening in the cloud and the way that services are being delivered and the innovation that's happening with companies being able to take services to market so quickly and make it available. And it's changing how companies think about unified communication now. And SaaS, applications become more integrated. You can deliver better business results by using communication as a service and integrating them with your business applications. But you start to look at unified communications is important to integrate it into the business applications you have. Microsoft isn't going to integrate with Salesforce. So if you go down a single vendor path, you may be limiting the applications and the experiences that your users want. So those are some of the things that we think about. Let me talk about where we're investing. So the things that we're doing here are building a desktop video solution that scales, larger number of video feeds, higher quality, flexible video layouts, and the ability to move a conference from everybody kind of has equal weight, it's a group collaborative meeting, to, hey, there's a speaker talking in a video and I want to focus attention on that, or I'm presenting content and I want video just to be it's people listening to what I'm presenting. On the mobile side, one of the things that we're doing now is really trying to build a user experience that is consistent across mobile devices and desktop devices and browser environments. So we just released yesterday the web version of this. So now you can join both an audio meeting and a web meeting from your mobile device. But one of the things that we did with this device is we're trying to make it really easy for you to start and join meetings. So that was the first premise we said is you've got this device with you all the time. This is the device that I use for alarms. So this beeps at me when I need to go to a meeting. So what we're doing, we just released the mobile website of it. We're going to release some invitation services and continuing to innovate around VoIP access from the mobility. On the website, we made a decision a long time ago to build our service so that we could enable feature sets capabilities at a subscriber level, which allows us to get deployments of our service into the market very quickly without wagging our customers on user interface and allowing a class of customers to test out a feature set to make sure it works for them in their environment. So we've been able to run beta programs for different capabilities that we're introducing and get feedback early in the market to make sure that they are on target with what we're trying to do with that. And one of them is the collaboration beta, which is basically how do we build our web conferencing app so it makes it easier for everybody in the meeting to be able to share content. And then on the audio side, we believe meetings start with audio. You can't really have a productive meeting unless you have audio, and it may be just room audio. We also believe that the most important quality element of a meeting is audio. And this is partly the dynamics of how the human brain works. But as you degrade audio quality and you're remote, it gets harder and harder to concentrate on what the content is. So those are some of the things that we're thinking about in the audio. And I also want to show you some of the things we're doing in terms of how we're helping customers get into meetings more seamlessly. Because these become accessories to meetings, and now you can start to use this as almost a remote control for getting into meetings. So I'm walking into a conference room, I say, start that meeting, and it dials the conference room phone without me even stepping into the room. And then we're also focused on, as Dan mentioned, the presentation side of our business, the webinar side of our business. And so we've got a self-serve broadcast audio product. So it allows our customers to very easily schedule and manage a webinar event. We've built a private green room that the speakers dial into, and they can talk about what they're going to talk about, get ready for the presentation. The audio is all on music hold, and they can move between the presentation audio room and the green room. And participants can either listen over their computers, or they can dial in to a US toll number or dial in to any of our international telephone numbers. So It's an exciting product. It's something that we've been working on for quite a while, and so far we've been getting great feedback from customers in that area. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the integrations that we're working on. Absolutely part of that. We don't want our customers to have islands of data that get lost and don't get integrated with the tools that they use. And so we've integrated with most of the major marketing automation vendors, as I mentioned, Salesforce, and then also into the environments that customers like to work in, calendaring and desktop environments. I'm going to spend just a little bit of time about a concept we call intelligent access. And so we've been working through a whole bunch of ideas around how do we allow meetings to start on time. The idea of intelligent access is really, if I understand what role I'm in, if I'm presenting, I own the meeting, or if I'm a participant in the meeting, I should know how, whether I'm starting a meeting or joining a meeting. If I understand what meeting type it is it just an audio meeting? Well, then just start an audio meeting. Or it's audio and web, then I need to do both. If I'm on a mobile device, be smart about how I get in on the mobile device. And if I'm at my desk or in a conference room, that's where the meeting should start. And so we should be, as a software provider, thinking about how to make those experiences better for our customers and making decisions and allowing them to say, okay, I'm here, here, and here, start the meeting. And so you're going to start to see things like a new desktop application that we're building, which is going to be replacing our quick launcher. And it's going to give you a very easy way, and by the way, we're going to consistently have an experience from mobile to desktop that is a similar experience, maybe some capabilities on the desktop that you can take advantage in terms of display size and things like that, but it's going to have a consistent user experience. So you're going to be able to very quickly start and join on-demand meetings. And what I love about this is it automatically scrapes your calendar, and it says, what are all the meetings that I can start or join based on understanding what those events are in your calendar. And so when a meeting comes up, oh, I got to start this meeting. And you click on it, and it tells you where you're at. It'll dial you into the location, and it'll start that meeting automatically. So we're trying to create an experience for customers that makes it really easy to get into and start meetings. And then on the iPhone, the same thing. We now have audio and web, and I'm going to do it from my office, and I click one button. And I've launched it into a web and audio conference on my iPhone. And then lastly, on browsers, we're doing the same kind of experience. So this is a browser experience that also is mobile friendly. So it will create a mobile usable experience as well as a desktop experience. What we've really tried to do is create a mobile experience, a desktop experience, and a browser experience that makes getting into and starting meetings absolutely seamless. We coined intelligent access. I don't know what else we call it, but it's really trying to help customers get into and start meetings very, very quickly. So that's it in terms of kind of where we're headed. We're going to be around over the next day and a half, and I'd love to sit down and just get your ideas and thoughts on what we can be, focus on from a product and a service side to really meet your needs. And again, I certainly appreciate the time.